You think he chose you because you're special? Vivian's voice was a blade, cutting through the champagne-laced air. Sweetheart, you're just his latest project, just like the others before you. Ellie's pulse pounded. Others? Vivian smirked, swirling her wine. Tell me, has he mentioned Lila yet? The name hit like a gunshot. Ellie had never heard it before, but the way Vivian said it, like a buried secret clawing its way back to life, made her stomach twist. Who was Lila? And why did it feel like knowing the truth would change everything? The boardroom of Pinnacle Publishing House shimmered with the cold gleam of ambition. Ellie Morgan, 23, sat at the far end of the table, her fingers nervously tracing the frayed edges of her grandmother's cardigan. It was a relic, soft, worn wool and muted gray, a piece of her past stitched with the resilience of the woman who'd raised her after her parents' fatal car crash when she was 13. Around her, colleagues in crisp blazers and stiletto heels cast sidelong glances, their whispers slicing to the air like paper cuts. Charity case, thrift store reject, doesn't belong. Ellie's jaw tightened. She clawed her way into this junior editor role with talent, not connections, and she wouldn't let their sneers unravel her. It was her first company-wide quarterly meeting, a proving ground in Manhattan's ruthless publishing arena. Marcus Chun, her supervisor, stood at the head of the room, his voice sharp as he outlined the stakes. A special edition project with fashion titan Vivian Reynolds and media mogul Alexander Hart of Hart Media International. Ellie's pulse quickened. She'd spent sleepless nights crafting the team's proposal, an accessible luxury concept that fused high fashion with the grit of real life. It was her brainchild, born from sketches on her cracked kitchen table in Brooklyn, but she'd never dreamed of presenting it. Ellie, Marcus said abruptly, his eyes locking on her. Take the floor. The room froze. She rose, her notes trembling in her hands, the cardigan swaying like a flag of defiance. The snickers grew louder as she walked to the front, but she squared her shoulders and began. Her voice wavered, then found its footing as she painted a vision of luxury that didn't gatekeep. Beauty rooted in authenticity, not wealth. Some nodded, others smirked. Vivian Reynolds, draped in a crimson blazer that screamed power, tilted her head, her lips curling faintly. Alexander Hart, 38, lounged in his chair, his dark eyes glinting with something unreadable beneath a tousled mane of black hair. Vivian interrupted, her tone dripping with condescension. Sweetheart, it's a cute story, but you look like you've never even smelled couture. What credentials do you have to sell luxury? Ellie's cheeks burned, her grip tightening on the cardigan. Before she could muster a reply, Alexander's voice cut through, low and deliberate. Credentials don't create vision. I like it. It's bold. His gaze lingered on her, sharp and curious. The meeting ended with cautious applause, but Vivian's dismissal stung, and Alexander's interest left her unsettled. Later, as Ellie packed her bag, a shadow loomed over her desk. Alexander stood there, all tailored elegance and quiet intensity, holding a sleek black box. Lunch, he said, not asking. Your idea's worth discussing. She hesitated, her modest roots screaming she didn't fit in his orbit, but he slid the box toward her. Inside was her cardigan, restored, the frayed edges mended with meticulous care, the wool soft and renewed. How? She stammered. Found it in the hall, he said, his tone casual but his eyes piercing. It deserved better than being lost. Why bother? She pressed, suspicion flickering. He shrugged. Because it's real. Like you. Over lunch at a rooftop bistro overlooking the Hudson, he praised her concept originality and offered her the lead on the project. A career-defining leap. She accepted, dazed, her mind wrestling with the chasm between her thrift store life and his billionaire world. At Hart Media, their collaboration ignited. Late-night sessions in his glass-walled office became a dance of ideas. He'd tease her dry wit. She'd push back on his polished instincts, and the project morphed into something groundbreaking. But shadows crept in. Whispers of Alexander's past charity case mints. Women he'd mentored and abandoned followed her like ghosts. Vivian's presence added fuel, her possessive glances at Alexander hinting at a tangled history Ellie couldn't decipher. Weeks later, a cryptic package arrived at Ellie's desk. A single photograph of Alexander with a young woman, both smiling, dated 5 years ago. On the back, scrawled in red ink, asked him about Lila. Her stomach twisted. Who was Lila? Another mentee? A lover? She shoved the photo into her bag, unresolved questions gnawing at her. The gala was the tipping point. Ellie arrived in a borrowed navy dress, her cardigan draped over her shoulders like armor. The ballroom glittered with Manhattan's elite, chandeliers casting light on Vivian's predatory smile as she cornered Ellie near the dessert table. "You're his latest pet project," Vivian purred, her voice venomous. "He loves a sob story until he's bored. You'll fade like the others." Ellie opened her mouth to retort, but Vivian swept away. Then, drifting through the crowd, she caught two editors muttering, "She's just his toy. Bet he's laughing at her right now." The words hit like a punch. Was she a fool? A pawn in some billionaire's game? She scanned the room for Alexander, but he was deep in conversation, oblivious. Doubt clawed at her and she fled, the city's neon blur streaking past her cab window. Back in Brooklyn, her phone buzzed. "Alexander, where are you? We need to talk." She silenced it. Then came the call that shattered everything. Her grandmother's neighbor, voice trembling. "Ellie, it's Nana. Heart attack. She's critical." Ellie raced upstate, guilt choking her. She'd been so consumed by Manhattan's dazzle she'd missed Nana's fading strength. At the hospital, a nurse dropped a bombshell. Her cares covered, some new employee health program. Perfect timing. Ellie frowned. Pinnacle had no such thing. Heart Media did. Alexander? She found him in the lobby, his suit wrinkled, eyes shadowed with fatigue. "I heard," he said softly. "I didn't want you buried in bills on top of this." Her gratitude warred with suspicion. "Why? Am I just another charity case?" He exhaled, rubbing his temples. "You've heard the rumors." "Yes, I've mentored others, women from nothing, like you, but they're not failures. One's a magazine editor in London. Another's a designer in Milan. I don't discard people, Ellie. I see what they can become. With you, it's more." "More how?" she demanded, clutching the photo in her pocket. He hesitated, then met her gaze. "Because I'm not just betting on your talent. I'm falling for you." Her breath hitched. Was this real or a masterful lie? She pulled out the photo, thrusting it at him. "Who's Lila?" His face paled. "Where did you get this?" "Answer me," she snapped. "Lila was my sister," he said, voice breaking. "She died 5 years ago. Poverty, no health care. I couldn't save her. That's why I help people like you. It's not charity. It's redemption." The revelation rocked her. The central question loomed. Could she trust a man whose kindness masked such pain? Nana stabilized, and Ellie returned to New York, the project deadline pressing. She channeled her turmoil into the work, crafting a magazine that wove luxury with raw, human stories, her vision in full bloom. But a new twist emerged, an anonymous email with a grainy video. It showed Alexander and Vivian arguing in a dimly lit office, her voice hissing. "She's a distraction. You promised me this project." His reply was muffled but firm. "It's hers now." The email ended with a threat. "Expose him, or I will." Ellie's mind raced. Vivian's jealousy was clear. But was Alexander playing them both? She confronted him in his office. The video paused on his screen. "What's this?" He stared, then sighed. "Vivian and I were partners. Business, once more. She thinks she owns me. She's wrong. I chose you for this, Ellie, not her." "Why didn't you tell me?" she asked, voice shaking. "Because I wanted you to trust me on your terms, not my past." She studied him, the man who'd mended her cardigan, saved her grandmother, and now bared a soul. The doubt ebbed, replaced by a fragile faith. Presentation day arrived. The boardroom brimmed with industry titans, Vivian front and center, her smirk daring Ellie to fail. Alexander stood at the back, silent but steady. Ellie unveiled the special edition, a masterpiece of high fashion and real-world grit. Her accessible luxury vision alive. The room erupted, applause drowning out Vivian's scowl. At the launch party, under the Manhattan skyline, Vivian approached, her tone icy but resigned. "You've got guts. I misjudged you." She left defeated. Alexander joined Ellie, 2 champagne flutes in hand. "You're brilliant," he said, pride warming his voice. "Permanent role at Heart Media. Yours." And he faltered, then smiled. "Dinner. Just us. No work." Ellie looked at him, the man who'd seen her when no one else had. The rumors, the photo, the video, they'd tested her, but his actions prove him. She took a glass, smiling. "Yes, to both." As they toasted, a final twist unfolded. Later in her apartment, she found a note sewn into the cardigan's lining, dated months before they'd met. "To the girl who'll change everything, don't let them dim your light. Age." Beside it, a tiny sketch of her, asleep at her desk, drawn with care. He'd seen her at Pinnacle long, before she'd noticed him, quietly watching, believing. How? He'd been at a staff meeting, incognito, and spotted her potential in a fleeting moment. The next week, they married in a quiet ceremony. Her in the cardigan, him in a simple suit. No billionaire fanfare, just them. Ellie Morgan Hart stepped into her new life. Her authenticity her crown, her husband her partner. The project soared. Her name echoed in the industry, and under the skyline she knew. True luxury was love, trust, and a light no one could dim. Hey, if this roller coaster gripped you, like and subscribe for more tales that twist and turn. What's next for Ellie and Alexander? You tell me.